Do I need to click it? No. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to All Things Nerdy, episode 31. Today is just going to be me and Joe. We're just going to be hanging out, chit-chatting, a little general discussion, talking about some Halloween, probably some of my trip, what's been going on in his life. Any questions y'all might have. We'll probably go off with some anime tangents and all kinds of, fun, random nonsense today. But I'm Nate, that's Joe, and welcome to All Things Nerdy. Joe?
Yep. So super excited. We had a last minute kind of cancellation, so that's why you get us today. But without further ado, Nate, let's talk nerdy. My first
Let's talk
question,
nerdy.
and I've mentioned this on probably every podcast since I've known about it. And you finally did it. You went cooking with Nona.
Oh man, let me tell you.
Nona. How do you say it? Is it Nona or Nona?
Nona. That's
Okay.
how I said it. I don't know. I could be wrong though. But let me tell you, Joe.
Right?
I don't know. Maybe. She didn't speak a lick of English. We had to have a translator there. But this lady was lovely. She will always have a spot in my heart. She's just the sweetest, kindest. It was her birthday, Nona Marisa. If anybody knows her, shout out Nona Marisa. But we made some ravioli, some fettuccine, and all kinds of stuff. And dude, she was sweet. She loved me the most, of course, right? I wish my wife was on here. She would vouch for it. I was her favorite. She gave me kisses, posted on my Instagram, Make the World Walker. You can go see it. Got all the kisses on the head. And she told everybody in the classroom, well, not in her kitchen, I guess, that my dough was great. She was like, this is good dough. And then she told Steph that I am the one of our family to be making pasta, not her.
Nice, dude. That's like the ultimate win. It's like I'm the pasta connoisseur of this household. Nana says so.
I mean, yes, but also it would have been awesome if she was like, Steph, you make all the pasta.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta take the dubs where you can, right? That's something that's like a once in a lifetime thing. Like how many more times in your lifetime do you think you'll be in Italy cooking with a grandma in Italy, like homemade pasta?
Yeah, dude, and it was on the countryside, right? Like it was not in the middle of Rome, and it's like a network of Nonas, which is crazy. They also have Baking with Mommy out of I think Paris, but like this is like out in the middle of nowhere. So we actually went to the wrong Nona's house at first. She came out there all like confused and worked up because like she didn't have the ingredients, and she was like, "Oh my gosh," And then when we got to the right Nona's place, like literally, she's a tiny lady, just sweet, hugged us all, got wanted pictures, and was like talking about how it was so special to her that we were getting to spend the day with her and stuff like that.
On her birthday, that's so cool. Oh, we got
a
comment from Stephanie. I'm 100% on board with you being the pasta maker. Thank you, Nona, for that. I mean,
yeah, whatever.
but that's still like just that whole situation is just super cool. Like, and the added thing that it was on her birthday, she gave you kisses, had them on your Instagram.
Dude, I can't recommend it enough. 10 out of 10. So I've done a lot, right? And I'm keeping a running track of where I'm where I'm at, what I'm doing, all that kind of stuff. And the pasta with Nona is like the top of my list because she was so special. She made me and everybody in our little group feel special. But I loved it. Like Steph, my wife, she could tell you, I was just glowing the whole time, just having a blast, loving it. Cause I love to cook, right. And I took a pasta class in New Orleans, and it was nothing like this. Right. So just being there in Italy on the countryside, like this little village, they're only known for their cherries and their olives, and their olives are sweet because it gets something from the cherries. So it's kind of cool. And they have one festival a year, and it's called the Cherry Festival. And whoever is the winner of the Cherry Festival gets to give cherries to the Pope. Right. And it's a tiny little village. Dude, supposedly they're known around the world for their cherries. But it was just I did actually. I had some like cherry juice or something. But like it was just I don't know if I'll ever get another memory like that. It was just so cool. And the fact that like me and Nona clicked the way we did, like I love that lady so much in my heart.
Oh, we got a question from Stephanie. It says, Joe, what would be your dream trip experience like Nate's pasta with Nona in Italy, and where would it be? Now, I've actually put some thought into this, and this is probably not going to surprise anyone like at all. But probably going to the Steve Irwin Zoo in Australia and just doing like a backstage pass, like kind of thing, like being able to interact with animals, talk with his son and daughter, that kind of thing, like and like have my family there too. So it's like a like Irwin family to Jewel family kind of thing. That probably sounds a little corny, but I mean I have like 25 plus animals. I feel like we'd fit right in.
I thought you were gonna say Japan, and I was so excited. I was like, that's such a great segue. But not. I mean, I get it,
But,
but not what I expected. And
I mean,
also, that would be cool. I'm not an animal person, but still, like Steve Irwin was a gem when he was around, and like everything he touched is awesome. So
yeah. Now, I mean, Japan's up there, right, with the anime and everything, like the culture, the stuff like that. But it's like if I had to pick like number one, like the thing I would put at the top of the list, it'd definitely be that zoo in Australia for sure.
yeah, that's cool. I didn't even know they did that. So I'm gonna definitely have to Google that after this.
I've
So
seen some videos and stuff. It's really cool, but but Japan would be up there, especially being able to go to like that village uh, in in Naruto. We got a comment from Jeremy says, except for the stingray. Dot dot dot. Too soon. It's always going to be too soon with Steve Irwin, man. Like I don't think there's a time limit that would expire for that, man.
it's kind of like like all dogs go to heaven, all animals go to heaven, except for that motherfucking
Ex-
stingray. That
except for
thing,
that stingray. And
yeah.
but dude, like of all the creatures, like this dude was like picking up like the most venomous snake in the world and like, "Hey mate, oh you're feisty, yeah." Uh, but it's sticking his like hands in Croc's mouth, like literally like just interacting with the most dangerous things on the planet. And a stingray is how he like what gets him. Like I was floored. I was surprised.
I mean, what a legendary way to go, though, right? Like, I mean, how many people
Doing
die?
what
I
you
have to
love,
Google
man.
this. I have no idea. Somebody Google it if you can't. How many people die a year from stingrays? Like I assume it's not a lot. So,
like like one every 10 years, and it had to be Steve Irwin. Like it cannot
yeah.
be a lot. We got Stephen Evans says, "I'm here. I had a chopped brisket sandwich for lunch, so I'm running late." Well, thanks for joining, Stephen. Better late than never, and we'll be talking about that brisket sandwich probably next week. So,
Oh yes. Okay,
all
so
right,
first off, I want to address the chopped brisket real quick. Chopped brisket sounds so good. I've had nothing. I'm in Santorini right now. I've had nothing but Greek food. I would crush some brisket. Oh my gosh.
okay. We got a comment from Jeremy. Joe, you should tell the story about speaking in an accent for a whole college semester. Okay. Do we
I
want to
don't
go
know
down
if you should tell this story, Joe. I don't know if this story like paints you in the best light.
Look, I mean, it kind of shows like some of my personality. Like, look, it was how it started was I was in speech class, and it was everyone was getting up, going around, introducing themselves, and it was a public speaking class. Like it was high pressure. I'm an introverted person. I don't like to get in front of a lot of crowds and like speak. Like this was my first like foray into that. And when it came to me, I panicked. So I stood up, started talking with an accent, said I was from New Zealand. And from that moment on, like this was a
Joe, we
point.
got to hear the accent. No, no, no. You got from
Yeah,
this
I don't
point
even know if
forward, you
I'm
have to tell the story with the accent.
So I get up and I'm like, "Hello, my name's Joseph. I'm actually from New Zealand. I came over here about 5 years ago. My mother was an exchange student over in New Zealand. Met my dad, and that's kind of how it came about. So, but here, there, that I haven't done it in so long, but But yeah, so I freaked out, stood up, introduced myself like that, and then I had to go with it. I couldn't just like back out. So, and this was a public speaking class, so I gave entire 20-minute speeches in this accent, did all the prep in the accent. Okay, the moment when I knew I was in too deep was when I had
God.
a date with a girl and I had brought her home and I was making a New Zealand recipe for ice cream. Like it was that moment when I was like, I need to stop. Like this is going too far. So I prepped the recipe, did all the research. Dude, I had a whole backstory, like and like, yeah. So not
That's
like
like
my
serial killer level commitment, Joe. Like, oh my God. Did
not
you at
my
least like in that moment, Joe, while making the ice cream, were you like, F, I need to stop doing this? Did you turn around to the girl and be like, so my name's Joe, right? And I'm fully American, like Georgia American, right? Like Southern, did you do that?
yeah,
Or did you like, you play out the date?
I played it out like so the only Steven said is that Joe's villain origin story. Oh, he turned into a villain because he had to do public speaking. But no, I finished out that date. So I did eventually confess it to her specifically because, like, again, it was going too far. Like, she brought me to her homecoming football game, was introducing me to like her family and her teachers and stuff, and I was like, no, this is too much. So I did confess it to her specifically, and I was like, look, I'm sorry. But everyone else in that class, like everyone else, like I never like I went about the whole semester, bringing it like keeping it up, that kind of stuff, and even the teacher, those kinds of things, they would still believe that I'm a student from New Zealand.
What's crazy is, and for the people that don't know Joe, this isn't even like, I mean, this is a crazy ass story for most of us, right? But Joe's got crazy stories just left and right. It's just what he does, you know? One comes to mind. I'm not going to just throw it out there, but one comes to mind, like I'm going to let you be the one to share that on, this podcast. But oh
You
my
got to give me more
God.
specifics than that, though, because I mean, like you said,
Mm.
there's some. I've gotten myself into some shenanigans that I'm.
No, the one I'll talk about, I'll text you later. I ain't gonna throw it out on here. You can decide if you want to cross that bridge or not.
Yeah,
So
there's
it's some
plenty of more.
backwoods like what in the Alabama kind of.
Yeah, there's plenty more time with Nate and Joe. We do this at least like once or twice a month, where it's just us. That I'm sure we'll cross that bridge somehow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ah, dude,
Yeah.
that's
How
so. I
was the
mean,
accent? I felt like I was a little rusty, but when I turned it on for a second, how was it? Was it decent? Could I fool you?
so full disclosure, 2 nights ago, I actually sat out, or maybe it's 3 nights ago. I sat out on the roof thing here, and I met a guy from New Zealand. And he was actually from New Zealand. But your accent is decent. You don't use all the New Zealand words. The dude called me like a bloke and some other people bloke and referred to himself as a bloke and talked about, cars as rigs and a bunch of other words that I can't remember. But I remember being like, you like sound like you could fucking murder people, which is awesome. But dude, nonetheless, your accent was pretty good. Like if you stood up and you're like, I'm Joe from New Zealand, like I think you did pretty well.
Jeremy says believable. I mean, like I'm American, you're American. Like, unless you are from New Zealand, you're not going to know those slang words that only New Zealanders use. I mean, that's why it was super believable for everyone else too, right? Like, they didn't know those slang words, and every now and then I would look them up and kind of, impose those into some of my speeches, like that kind of stuff. Again, I full sale. Like I was completely committed. I had a backstory where in one of my speeches I told stories about me and my dad like fishing. I can't remember the river name, but it was like a small town like next to a major river in New Zealand that I looked up. Like I did my research and I committed. Like
I wish somebody in that class was actually from New Zealand and they went after you did. That would have been amazing.
oh, it would have been like, well, one of these two people are fake. But I bet with all the research that I did, I probably could have like convinced him that I was the real person and that person was a fake, just from like all the knowledge and stuff I had at that time.
I love speech class back in the day, man. That was such a good class. It was so easy.
That made it, like, way more memorable for me, like, it made it more fun, more challenging, like, again, I feel like if I would have done speech class normally, I would have been very bored of like, yeah, I got to give a speech on this topic. But it was like, I have to give a speech on this topic in a New Zealand accent because that's who I am in this class.
Uh,
Oh,
Man, I feel like college was so long ago. I only remember a few things about it. Would you say that's like one of the one things you remember from college that you'll just never forget is the time you stood up and fooled everybody?
oh, absolutely. That's like, I that's because I was at Middle Georgia College at that time. That's really the only thing I can remember from my time at Middle Georgia before I transferred over to a 4-year school. But that's like the only thing that I can remember. Oh, we got from Stephanie. It's a good thing there was no crossover between students in your speech class and your other classes. Yep, yep, yep. That was very well because if I would have seen someone in one of my other classes, I would have fully committed. I would have did that class too. But thankfully, there were no crossover.
So did you know like okay, let's think about college, right? There's like lunch halls, there's the quad, the library. Like I remember in college, I talked to everybody. I hung, like I was just a like when I was on campus, I was just a little chatty Cathy, blah blah blah. So like you never once were you just out in the middle of somewhere and somebody walked by and be like, "What the fuck? You don't have an accent?"
See, I was the opposite, especially when I was at Middle Georgia. Like I stuck to myself. I went to my class, I went to work. Went to my class, I went to work, or went home, like depending on what time the class was. But yeah, I didn't really like talk to people in the general like areas where everyone hung out, that kind of stuff. Like I just kind of made a beeline to the car and left. When I transferred over to like Georgia Southern, that changed a lot. So I definitely wouldn't have been able to keep it up for one class on that because I did like was always kind of in the general areas in the IT building and stuff like that. But while I was at Middle Georgia, I was like, no, I don't. I'm not going to be here that long. Like, I'm just going to be here for a little while and transfer out. So I didn't really try to, you know, put myself out there like that. And then Nate, you still talk to everyone, bro. I mean, you just mentioned talking to the guy that's really from New Zealand. Why don't you tell a little bit about that story about how you almost went to seas for a few months, right?
Okay, almost, except for my wife. Anyways,
Yeah,
so here we are.
you ruined it.
we're out on the roof. We're having beers. It's like midnight. We just got into Santorini, tired. It's been a long day, but we like walk around like our hotel. And we find this little spot. It's like the high spot of the hotel. It's right outside here, and there's a guy up there and two other people, but we won't talk about them because they suck. What up, Faisal? But anyway, so I walk up there, they're chatting. He offers me a beer, take a beer, we're hanging out. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I'm a cook on a ship. I'm like, where are you from? He's like, New Zealand. I'm like, that's cool as shit. He's like, yeah, it's essentially like a pirate ship. It's like a bunch of ruffians. All the people from like the hardest part of the island. Like this is what they do. He's like, we go for like 2-3 months at a time. He's like, we run 2 shifts. They're 12-hour shifts. He's like, they're the craziest people, like criminals and stuff like that. He's like, it's essentially a pirate ship. I'm like, well, this sounds amazing. I love experiences. I love doing things in my life, right? So I'm like, bro, I'm big, I'm strong. Like, I can help you on your ship. Like, let me go out one time on this pirate ship with y'all. He was kind of like, ha ha, I thought it was funny, but I was like putting it all. I was like ready to like commit to being on this pirate ship for 2 months. And then my lovely wife goes, let me tell you, you don't want this man on your ship. So back context, we're helping some people put on some floor, and I got sidetracked talking about margins and like how much they were making on the floor and all these kind of things, right? So I wasn't helping put in this basketball court floor very much. It was more, morale booster. And she'll never let me forget it. Neither will my friends. It's fine. But she's like, this man will not let any of y'all get any work done. Y'all will throw him overboard in like 2 days. So I went from being able to go out on a pirate ship for a couple months with a bunch of New Zealanders, which would have been an amazing story, to my wife just completely shutting me down by telling this man I would do no work and talk to everybody and not allow them to do anything. So that is just like
Wow.
2 month departure
Jeremy
to
says, sounds
shut
like a
down.
scallywag.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I was so excited. Like in the moment, I thought he was committing. I was like, I'm gonna get to do this. I'm gonna get to go out on this pirate ship, for a couple months. When am I ever gonna get that opportunity again? And then my wife took it from me because she's not ride or die. She's listening.
But Jeremy puts a valid point in the chat though. She ain't wrong. I mean,
Bro, okay.
she called it. I
Jared.
mean, she really did.
Okay. I mean, there's time to call your shot. That's not the time. But also, why? Like, you're like the fourth person to say that. Why does everybody agree with Steph? I can work sometimes. Jared, when I sat across from you, right, I came into Apex and you didn't want to talk to me. I let you work just peacefully, bro. I didn't bother you. I didn't keep bugging you. I did make you talk to me at some point, after you refused for the first 4 days. But still, there was some work time in there.
Yeah, there's always time for work, right? But
Yeah.
she kept you from living your One Piece story. Like you could have been going after the One Piece, and she
I
took
would have
that
been the
from you.
king of the pirates. Yeah, king of the pirates.
I can see that happening. Like you getting on the ship, and then somehow by the end of the journey, you're like the captain somehow. Like I can see you talking your way into that. Like
That'd be awesome. Look at me. Look at me. I am the captain
I'm the
now.
captain
Look at
now.
me.
And cheers, this is the guy who's been on a trip for 4 months now. He's got you there. I mean,
Bro, first off, this trip has been more work than you could believe. All right. We looked at it. Me, Joe, and my buddy Keaton, we talked about it yesterday on WhatsApp via text, like how many steps I've taken. I have walked more on this vacation than I did in like the last year of my life.
yeah, I think you're what averaging like 17 to 20,000 steps a day, which is what that's miles upon miles, like almost 10 miles, right?
Yeah, it was like 7 or 8 miles.
Yeah. We got 7 said I immediately thought of One Piece when you said cook on a pirate ship. And it is because the live action One Piece, like we've all recently watched that, so it's like crazy timing that this conversation happened. And then Files was like, our dreams are very different, bro. You wanted to go on a pirate ship without knowing anyone in it.
Yeah,
What's your
that
dream,
sounds
man?
amazing.
Faisal, what's your dream? Put it in the chat so we can throw it up here. I mean, it can't be any more crazy than that, right?
Yeah, everybody share your dreams. Might as well go on a freaking pirate ship with New Zealanders who are all freaking, criminals and crazy people. I got to learn the life.
Steven says that's how Europeans stay thin. I mean, it's a lot of countryside. I can see it.
Dude, you say that, but in Italy, like all that, I don't understand how more Italians are not out of shape because they ain't really walking like that, and they eat a ton of pasta. Like the Nona and her, like her husband was there, and like they had a translator for us. Translator said Nona eats pasta every day of the week, 7 days a week. She's eating pasta.
I mean, I could do that. Pasta is delicious. Oh, Faisal says, love the tan though. I mean, if we went back to our first video, like when you first got to Europe and like now, like one tan, like 100% obvious. Your skin tone is way shade, like many shades, and then also like you can see like how much weight you've lost from doing all of this walking. Like it definitely in the face, like you're looking like super fit. Like you're over here, like yeah, let me model for GQ on the cover,
Joe, you're too nice. GQ couldn't afford me. Just saying. No, I'm kidding. Joking. I have lost a couple pounds. I don't know how much, but the tan is real. Although I did become the one person I despise. I can't believe this happened. So my wife yesterday, we woke up at like 6 a.m. and we took a bus to a town close to Santorini called OAI. I don't know how to pronounce it, whatever it is, you know. And I was like, cool, yeah. She's like, all right, we'll just hike back. And she like Googled it and they're like, oh, it's a walk, it's casual. That is not casual. We scaled 2 freaking mountains, up and down, up and down. It was like it was only like a 5 mile walk, which isn't terrible, maybe 6. Isn't terrible, but dude, up that elevation constant, but the work, no freaking shade at all. So I say all this because I got this beautiful raccoon tan that you can't really see. Thankfully, from the sunglasses, I've always said I would never be that person. You can kind of see my eyes are much lighter than like my forehead right now.
Well, you
I got
pointed out.
raccoon tan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny because me and my sister were out. Like we just moved. There's like a lake down the road from here now, and then my sister and me went fishing, like on the lake, like pretty much all day, like a couple weekends ago. And she wore her hat down like this, and the next day she takes off the hat and she has a line all the way across her forehead. And I'm like, that is so funny. That's always why I like wear mine right up in my hairline so it doesn't do anything crazy like that. But it's so funny. She just walk around with a stripe across her forehead, which I feel like is worse than the goggles because it's like, what is that?
Yeah. So
But we
we were
got
out on a catamaran. We were out on a catamaran today from like 3 till sunset, and I had a hat on, but I keep it like back here, so
yeah,
so no tan here.
yeah.
So
Oh, we got oh, Muhammad says, and that jawline, dude, you just getting all the comments. Look, show like that, show us that jawline, good
you know, I
deal.
appreciate that. I posted some cool pictures on Instagram yesterday. One was a video of me and my wife, but nobody noticed me, and everyone noticed my wife. But it's fine. I get it. It's
I
fine.
mean, it was the
No,
dress, man, the
no compliments for me.
flowing. And then Steven brings up a good point, though. Dude, he says, dude, we did a honeymoon in Italy and literally lost weight. The fresh pasta isn't the same as our processed pasta, but that's a story for another day. I mean, that
They
is a valid
also
point, right?
They also do their sauces differently. Their sauces are not like all heavy like ours. Like so we did ravioli and she made like a butter sage sauce and that was it. It was just a little bit of like brown butter, a little bit of sage and stuff like that. And it was just light because she's like, you got to appreciate the flavor of the ravioli and the pasta versus like just drenching it in something. So yeah, 100%. That's true. But still, bro, you don't understand. Pasta 7 days a week.
I
You
mean, it
know, like
sounds amazing. I mean, and Jeremy put some violins, just kind of talking
okay,
about
J
your.
Boogie.
Look, he had to bring you down a couple pegs. Everybody else was just like talking you up, so he had to, you know, put you back down to earth for a minute.
I appreciate all y'all,
Oh,
except for you, J Boogie.
yeah.
So
He's keeping it real. He's keeping it real.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but
But with that, we only have a few more weeks overseas. We have actually finally bought our return ticket home, and we're going to be going back to New York, and then going to be moving to Philly shortly after that. So our European trip is coming to an end. We're both tired. My brother just had a kid. She wants to go be close to her family, so we're calling it, and going to be coming home. That and my legs can't handle much more.
Steven says, Nate, you come here and do my job and I'll travel Europe. He's already tapped out, man. I mean, so you got to take his place, Steven. Like, go ahead and book your tickets. Um,
Yeah.
but so we don't have too much time left. But just off the top of your head, I know you're coming back to the States, trying to find a home, that kind of thing. But do you have any just off the top of your head, like things that you know you're going to do for Halloween that's coming up?
For Halloween, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I do know that if I have the time to dress up or make a costume, I do know what I want to do. And for the Naruto fans out there, shout out to my boy Hidan. I want to be Hidan, but the caveat means I have to shave my beard, and I'm torn. I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I'm gonna commit. But like I want to dress up as Hedon. What about you, Joe? You got like, 13 kids and all that.
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna do like a pumpkin patch thing. Take the kids to one of those. Me and the wife want to try like there's this haunted house that's 3 miles from the road, like called Atrox that we want to try it that we've never tried out, even though we live right down from it. So want to try that out this year. And then I'm kind of in the same boat as you. So I've been the Joker before, but I didn't like fully commit. I didn't shave my beard, right? So it was like half the face. I did like the red stuff, but I kept my beard. I think I want to redo it, but fully commit and shave the beard. So we could just do it, and an episode at the end of the year or end of the month where we're just both beardless. I mean, it works out, right?
I have not shaved my beard in years, years and
Hey,
years. My wife does not know what I look like without a beard. Steph has never seen me without a beard,
I
and
think
I kind of have a weak chin for real. Y'all would be like very confused. Like, A, I look much younger, really, I do. And then B, my chin, it's kind of a weak chin. It's not like it's not a Chad chin. It's just kind of sad.
I think the last time I shaved was we were all at Apex and Jeremy had bet, like I bet Jeremy on something. I think it was like fantasy or something, and I lost. And I shaved, and I think my 7-year-old was like 2 and just ran screaming from me. I just haven't shaved since then. um, let's see. Oh, we got a couple comments. Jeremy says by Philadelphia you meant Birmingham. I second that. Like Nate, moving up to Philadelphia. I mean, Birmingham, you're always gonna have a place here. Stephen Evans coming in, be a pirate. I mean, that is your dream. So
It
you
was my
could,
dream in the moment. I just
yeah.
wanted to go on a pirate ship. That'd be so cool.
And then Mohammed Faisal says, Joseph got the hair for a Thor, but need to work on the body. Oh, I see how it is. Look, I would have to gain like 30 pounds of just solid muscle to be able to
Yeah,
dress like Thor.
Joe's got to go full like bulk gear, trim, all kinds
Yeah,
of stuff. Like dude's got to live in the gym for the next like
yeah.
year to hit that Thor
I,
status.
I'm at 165, like soaking wet. Like I'm not an easy gainer. I've been doing CrossFit for like over a year, and I've gained muscle, but I've not gained any kind of mass or anything like that. So, I don't know if Thor's possible.
Golly, dude, 165. That's crazy. I weighed more than that in like middle school. And I was fit in middle school, and I still like you're just a small dude, Joe.
I mean, I can't deny that. I mean, I've always been small. I mean, in college, I weighed like 120. So I mean, I'm definitely up from where I was in college, but it's still not big by any means. I would say.
Yeah. Joe, instead of the Joker, why don't you be somebody from the Akatsuki, and then I could be somebody from the Akatsuki, and we could both be Akatsuki members.
I've done that before. I was Kakashi one year, and then I was Sasuke one year, and I like after he got taken over by
Bro, of course
dude,
you were Sasuke.
I
Oh
had
my
the like
gosh.
I had the curse mark going all the way like across my face and everything, and all the way down, dude. It looked legit.
What year was that?
Uh, it was probably like 3 years ago. I can send you some pictures. It was epic though. Like
Yeah.
my sister did like the curse mark and like I think it was like mascara or something. So it was like thick and like dark. So it looked pretty awesome.
Yeah, I need to see that. You need to shoot that
And
over to me for
I have the
sure.
contact Sharingan, so I was like I put the Sharingans in, so legit.
All I remember your Joker because it was a picture that circulated for a little bit, and then you were like some kind of vampire from like what was it like?
Yeah, the originals.
What
Yeah,
high school like romance vampire thing was the hit of the week you did? But like that
this is
was
the
the thing.
originals, sir.
Whatever it is.
but,
So
but it looks like we are coming up past time. I know you're 8 hours ahead of me. What time is it for you right now?
it is 10:03 or 11:03, something like that. I gotta look on my phone, but I have all the stuff up on my phone right now, so I can't really look. And I don't know if my watch ever synced. So
So I know you are exhausted, and we're 4 minutes over time now. But dude, it's been fun getting on and chatting with you. Do you have anything else we want to cover before we hop off?
no, except for I want everyone to know that J Boogie Cox refused to talk to me for like the first 2 weeks I worked, literally right in front of him. He refused to acknowledge me as a friend, but I wore him down, and then now he's like one of my best friends. So he refused. He wasn't having it.
Let
But
it
that
be
was it,
known
really.
he tried to stay on track. But
Yeah.
awesome. We'll see y'all later.
See ya.